So I'm going to talk about uniqueness, and not just every person's uniqueness, but particularly people that don't tend to fit neatly into categories or types or groups. I am definitely one of those kinds of people. And in some cases, it's allowed me to go from subculture to subculture, to friend group, relationship to relationship, and find something that I can genuinely offer, that I can genuinely relate to. But in another way, it's made it hard to feel at home sometimes in certain subcultures or groups, certain claimed families even in my own family. I'm a weird one. I don't fit into a round hole, a square hole, or a triangular hole. I'm a unique shape. I'm not sure if the mold was broken when I was made, or I just kind of burst out of it and broke it myself. But there's only one, and it has benefits and gifts that come along with being a particularly unique person, and also challenges and abilities that must be attained through adaptation and patience and that learning process of how to be with others in groups of others. So I'm vibrating pretty high right now, as they say in some of the more new age communities, because I just finished being part of a channeling session. There is an old friend who I trained in some Zen shiatsu with, 13, 15 years ago. He was just a really lighthearted, beautiful guy. I connected with him at the time. Hadn't seen him for a while. We were connected on Facebook, and recently reached out to him again after I saw some of the work that he was doing. He's focusing with his partner on this endeavor to channel what they call the guides. And I know for some of you that are very firmly, almost grumpily rooted in the material, any of this stuff is going to be, just laughable. And if you're curious, stick around and listen. If it seems just too silly, there's a lot of other content for you to watch. And then also, this is sort of another part of this talk that I'm going to touch on. If you wear a cross or use that symbol, and some of the other followers of a system that uses the book seem to be very disconcerted or concerned about all these sort of activities that in many cases have connections to practices and traditions that have been going on for a long time, maybe from other cultures than our Western culture right now, but have been integrated into, I guess, what some might call New Age, although that's a term that gets a lot of flack, a lot of hate. But the collection of these older practices through the, I guess, not always claimed, but the New Age umbrella, is a way that some people get introduced to the spiritual path and start looking deeper and start connecting deeper. So I asked a question today, and the weirdo, the unique person that I am, was somewhat misunderstood. And this is what I find, is even the people that have known me for a long time, even family, old friends, don't seem to know what my motivations are, don't seem to know what's actually going on in my mind that brought up some activity or behavior or thought pattern, or what's in my heart that led to me doing something or asking something or commenting in a certain way. And I don't know how much of that happened today, but I asked this question. It was at the channeling session that was about that difficulty that a lot of people of the book have, that judgment, that assertion that any of this kind of New Age stuff is dangerous and the work of the devil or evil or something like that. That group is upward facing, very, I don't think that they would like identify as New Age, but very New Agey maybe to an onlooker. But, they're people of the light and the love. And this is kind of another umbrella that a lot of the newer spiritual communities are under. And the Love and the Light crew get some flack. I mean, I've even made some comments on my videos about that. And so my question was somewhat misunderstood, I should say. And the people that were leading the channeling session, as well as a few others that made comments afterwards, they seemed to understand the question as, I have trouble relating to people of the book that are very negative towards some of these New Age practices and communities. And that's not true at all. I mean, I say through YouTube or maybe in some other ways, even in person, I try to connect with the broad spectrum from fully established ancient religion to the most New Agey thing and group or person that you can imagine, and everything in between. I'm interested in all of it. I think it's all just an expression and manifestation of human reacquainting themselves with spirit. And it's really what we're all here for. Even you materialists, you're here for that too, in your own way. But yeah, I felt a little misunderstood. I was curious how these people who would be considered very maybe airy-fairy, love and lighty, or very New Agey deal with that kind of judgment, deal with communicating with people that might be extremely judgmental, dismissive, or even sort of nasty to a practice like channeling. And that's okay. That's okay. And I didn't get to kind of clarify because the time was running out, and that was fine. I'm very happy to be part of that group. I'm still vibrating pretty high, as they say. But, if you're unique, you're not like anyone else, it might be hard at times trying to communicate. People continually kind of misunderstanding you, taking your questions slightly off base from how you intended it, or assuming the opposite intentions towards your actions or comments. I'm getting better at it as you get older, as you get more experience in life, as you explore the spiritual journey more. It'll get better. Your patience will increase, kind of like muscle. Except this is a kind of muscle that helps you relax instead of helps you exert. Build that patience muscle that brings calm and maybe not acceptance, but compassion. So, what do you do? What do you do? We're all on this path. Ultimately, anyone that is part of a mainstream religion is probably a lot more similar to someone who has their own sort of spiritual relationship and maybe would be considered New Agey. They're a lot more similar than those dirty materialists. But at the end of the day, we're all here for this path, even if you want to deny or think all this kind of exploration and these activities are crazy or a waste of time. We're all here for this path and this development. We're all going to reach that final point, have that final last breath, and everybody, even if you're an atheist, everybody is going to have a special, personal experience after you expel that last portion of air. In whatever way you prepare for that, it's important. We're all unique, but some of us don't fit in to categories, to standard holes. And that's okay. And that's okay. It can be used to your advantage. It can be used constructively. Part of this channel is making use of that uniqueness, because I align a lot more with the Love and Light crew. I grew up in a pretty new age environment. There's definitely a mix of different traditions, and it was more about being spiritual than being religious. Part of my authenticity, part of my unique offering to all of you is, and I've said this, it is important. We are here for growth. It is important to be able to continually find that guide point in your heart, in the future, in the distance, on the horizon, the growth of possibility and connection and love and compassion. But I'm not here to be love and light. I'm here to go where I must. If I must go into the shadow, at times, that's where I will go. I spent years in the underworld, spiritually, metaphorically, helping my mom through her Alzheimer's, and then helping my dad through his multiple myeloma blood cancer. There were many challenges, internally and externally, with people and with situations through that 7, 8, 9-year journey that I went through. I was lucky before that to have a great deal of love and support, and a really large lack of those kinds of fucking tough, crushing, overwhelming life challenges. And then everything inverted, and I just had to go. I had to go where my mom fell into. I had to go where my dad found himself. I had to help. And at that time, when I was walking through darkness in the shadow, I found continually ways to keep getting up after one situation after another crushed me, drag my leg along, bandage up my arm until it would heal. I found a way to keep getting up. But one thing that really alienated me or just pissed me off was the love and light attitude, because it was not authentic, it was not true, and that only turning towards the love and light, trying to stay all in high vibration, it was not where I was, and it was the opposite of helpful. And we all have these people and these communities and these concepts and practices that come to us at a time that we need them. And some things that come to us or that we come across are not helpful, and it's not the right time. And so part of my unique expression, as I'm trying to say, is I'm here to hold the door open, not to attain enlightenment. I'm here to go into the shadow and maybe bring a torch, a candle, or even a spark, maybe even just the potential of light in a tinder box. And as I move into my future, I might stand in the light more and more. I might be in a state of high vibration, maybe even all the time. I wish all of you the ability, the lessons that you learn, the strength that you build to be light of being, light of spirit, to be in a joyous high vibrational state. It sucks to be stuck in your shadow work, to be stuck in a dark place with someone else or in your own process. It's not fun. It's not comfortable. But it's where you must go sometimes. Sometimes it's the most authentic place for you to be. I'll do my best, like I said, to provide you with a tinder box, to create that spark, so that you can find a little light when you go through the dark places. But I'm me, and I must speak authentically to all of you. I'm very, very honored and happy to be part of this community that I spoke of earlier with the channeling activity. It's a gift, a boost, a gift of light and high vibration that gets infused into my life, but I will go where I must. And if you're in one of those places that isn't the most comfortable, isn't the most light, and isn't vibrating joyously right now, I understand. It might not get better tomorrow. It might not get better the day after. But you will get through it. And you will find those moments, or even those large periods of relief, of joy, and light. Keep looking for it. Keep at times turning towards it, and at other times finding fellow travelers who can be in the shadow with you, who can be an explorer of the underworld. They're out there, and it will help. So, thank you again, and good luck.